Buy Sri Lanka's best internet package for online learning and online working with many amazing offers. Call 1212 for more information. Sri Lanka Telecom.
ලෙන්ගතුකම වැඩි කරගන්න ලව්ජු රුපියල් 50ට අඩු කළා.
මාමේ එන්න අපිට එකක් බොමු.
Tonight, a new beginning. The country's 9th parliament convenes tomorrow, minus the Our Power of People party, and for the first time in 73 years, the United National Party. Positive changes. The new cabinet agrees to abolish the 19th Amendment and the drafting of a brand new constitution. Affirmative action. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa orders the halt of the controversial roadway construction through the Sinharaja forest. Brushed aside. Easter Commission told of scant attention paid to foreign intelligence warnings at intelligence review meetings. All this and much more coming up on this Wednesday, the 19th of August 2020.
Nava sunlight sakura. Then dikukal pavathina sakura mal suandin.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9. I'm Shanella Fernando. Moving on to your top stories for tonight. The inaugural sitting of the 9th Parliament of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka will commence at 9:30 a.m. tomorrow. The 11th Speaker of the Supreme Legislative Body of Sri Lanka will be appointed tomorrow along with his deputy. Thereafter, the inaugural session of the new Parliament headed by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa is scheduled to begin at 3 p.m. tomorrow and will be confined to a simple ceremony as instructed by the President. One of the highlights of tomorrow's sitting will be the absence of representation from the United National Party, one of Sri Lanka's oldest and foremost political parties. With all preparations set for the first sitting of the 9th Parliament of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka, the new Parliament will convene with a number of special features. Previously, only 6 political parties were represented in the last Parliament, but this time that number has increased to 15. Following the general election, results showed the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna to have won an overwhelming majority, having secured 145 seats. The Samagi Jana Balawegaya managed to secure 54 seats, while the Ilangai Tamilarasa Katchi won 10. The Jatika Jana Balawegaya managed to claim 3 seats, while the Elam People's Democratic Party managed 2. Meanwhile, the Akhila Ilangai Tamil Congress won 2 parliamentary seats. The Tamil Makkal Vidudalai Puligal, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, the Muslim National Alliance, the Tamil Makkal Desiya Kootani, the Akhila Ilangai People's Congress, the National Congress, the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress, the United National Party and the Our Power of People Party won 1 seat each. What is remarkable this time around is that out of the public representatives elected, 81 are first-time parliamentarians. It is also noteworthy that the group of first-time parliamentarians also include academics and professionals in various fields. Further, 25 public representatives between the ages of 25 and 40 have been elected to Parliament as well. This brings the representation of young MPs in the new Parliament to 11%. Jeevan Thondaman, the State Minister of Estate, Housing and Community Infrastructure, is the youngest member to represent the new Parliament at the age of 26. Born on November 9, 1994, he is the youngest to hold a ministerial position in the new Parliament. Meanwhile, Minister of Sports and Youth Affairs Namal Rajapaksa became the youngest to hold a cabinet position. Meanwhile, parliamentarians within the 41-50-year age group represent the highest number of MPs with 67 members. 54 parliamentarians make up the 51-60-year age group. Further, there are 37 elected members in the 61-70-year age group and 9 in the 71-80-year age group. Vasudeva Nanayakara, C.V. Vigneswaran and R. Sambandhan represent the 81-90 age group in Parliament. Although 13 women representatives were elected to Parliament in 2015 general election, this time the number has dropped to 12. Accordingly, this brings the percentage of women representation in the 9th Parliament to 5.3%. What's more, elected parliamentarians Sivanesature Chandrakantan alias Pillayan and Premalal Jayasekara, who are currently in remand prison, will also attend the inaugural parliamentary session tomorrow. It is also noteworthy that the new parliament will convene with a participation of 223 out of 225 parliamentarians, with the 2 nationalist members of the United National Party and the Our Power of People's Party yet to be nominated. Also, for the first time since independence, a parliamentary inaugural sitting will be held without the representation of the United National Party, one of the oldest and foremost political parties in the country. The United National Party, which was formed in 1947, will not represent the inaugural session of Parliament in 73 years. The new Parliament is scheduled to begin its sessions at 9:30 a.m. tomorrow. No reservations of seats will be made for MPs on the first day of Parliament, and only the seats of the President and the Prime Minister will be reserved. The Secretary-General of the Parliament, Dhammika Dasanayaka, and the Sergeant-at-Arms supervise the preparations for the inaugural sitting scheduled for tomorrow. Meanwhile, a new Speaker for the 9th Parliament will be appointed during the inaugural sitting tomorrow. Government sources confirmed that Mahinda Yapa Abewardena, who was elected from the Mathura district, will be appointed to the post of the 11th Speaker of Parliament. The new parliamentarians will then take their oaths before the new Speaker. Thereafter, representatives for the posts of Deputy Speaker and Deputy Chairman of committees will be appointed, following which the proceedings of the House will be adjourned until 3 p.m. The first session of the 9th Parliament will then be ceremonially held at 3 p.m, presided over by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. The new Parliamentary Communications Division announced that the President's arrival ceremony will be held in a simple manner and that gun salutes and vehicle parades will not be part of the ceremony at the request of the President. The ceremony will be limited to just a few cultural performances. Meanwhile, Minister of Foreign Relations Dinesh Gunawardena will be appointed as the leader of the House, and Minister of Highways Johnston Fernando will be appointed as the Chief Government Whip. A representative for the position of Chief Opposition Whip will also be appointed tomorrow. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa will also present the new government's policy statement to Parliament.
Enjoy a very smooth shave with the Bic Easy 2 razor. Bic Easy 2.
Following the first meeting of the new Cabinet of Ministers, a decision has been taken to abolish the 19th Amendment and replace it with the 20th Amendment to the Constitution. Further, the Cabinet has also approved the drafting of a brand new Constitution.
With Sri Lanka's 9th Parliament sitting tomorrow, the new Cabinet of Ministers had its inaugural meeting, headed by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, at 10 a.m. this morning at the Presidential Secretariat. At the meeting, Minister of Mass Media Kelly Rambukwella was officially named the new cabinet spokesman, while Minister of Plantations Ramesh Patirana and Minister of Energy Udaya Gamanpilla were appointed as joint cabinet spokespersons. Minister of Mass Media Kelly Rambukwella yesterday stated that topics on the cabinet's agenda this morning would focus on the 19th Amendment to the Constitution, in addition to other changes the government may make in the near future. Further, Minister Rambukwella added that discussions would also focus on the government's first budget, mainly whether a supplementary estimate would be tabled in Parliament or a brand new budget would be drafted instead. Accordingly, it has been reported that Cabinet approval was granted to abolish the 19th Amendment to the Constitution and draft the 20th Amendment as its replacement.
ජනාධිපතිතුමා කැබිනට් මණ්ඩල පත්‍රිකාවක් ඉදිරිපත් කළා තවත් උපාධිධාරීන් 10000කට රැකියා ලබා දීමට. සමහර අයගේ යම් යම් ගැටලු තිබුණා EPF numbers වගේ දේවල් තියෙනවා කියලා. ඒ අය ලයිස්තුවෙන් අයින් වෙලා තිබුණා. ඒ සියලුම දෙනාට රැකියා ලබා දීමට අතිගරු ජනාධිපතිතුමා අද කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලයට පත්‍රිකාවක් ඉදිරිපත් කළා තිබුණා. මේ උද්ඝෝෂණ කරන දරුවන්ටත් අපිට කියන්න තියෙන්නේ ඔබ ගැන ජනාධිපතිතුමා බලා ගන්නවා.
දැන් හෙට පාර්ලිමේන්තුව ආරම්භ වෙනවා.
3 දෙක බලයක් තියෙන අලුත් පාර්ලිමේන්තුවක් ජනවාරමට අනුව අපි අලුත් ව්‍යවස්ථාවක් ගේනවා.
19 කොහොමද වෙනස් කරන්න ඔබතුමාලා හදන්නේ?
තාම ඒක කැබිනට් පේපර් එක ආවේ නැහැ. නමුත් ඒ පිළිබඳව සාකච්ඡා කරා කොහොමද ඒක වෙනස් කරනකොට මොනවද තියාගන්න ඕනේ කියලා කොටස් පිළිබඳව සාකච්ඡා කරා.
අපි මූලික වශයෙන්ම මේ සාකච්ඡා කළේ මේ විදුලිය බිඳවැටීමේ හේතු කාරණා ගැන දැන්ට තියෙන තොරතුරු ඉදිරිපත් වුණා. ඒ තොරතුරු අනුව පැහැදිලි දෙයක් පේන්නේ නැහැ. කොහොම හරි මේවා ගැන වගකිව යුතු නිලධාරීන්ම මේවා ගැන තොරතුරු මා ජනතාවට කිවේ යුතුයි කියන එක තමයි අවධාරණය වුණේ ජනාධිපතිතුමා.
විවස්ථා සංශෝධනය එනවා කියන
සම්පූර්ණ ව්‍යවස්ථාවක් ගැනීමේ වැඩ පිළිවෙලකුත් තියෙනවා.
ප්‍රධාන නායකතුමා කවුද?
මම හිතන්නේ මහින්දයා.
එතකොට මෛත්‍රීපාල සිරිසේන මහතාගේ තනතුර මොකද්ද?
තාම දන්නේ නැහැ.
එතකොට තනතුරක් තියෙනවද?
තාම දන්නේ නැහැ මම.
දැන් අලුත් කැබිනට්ටුවක් තියෙන අලුත් ආණ්ඩුවක්. ඇත්තටම ජනතාවට මේක සෙතක් වෙයිද ඉදිරියේදී?
සෙතක් නෙමෙයි ජනතාවට බලාපොරොත්තු නොවූ අනාගත සංවර්ධනයක ආරම්භය ඇති වේවි.
In the meantime, a group of unemployed graduates protested in front of the presidential secretariat today. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, on his way out of the secretariat, took time out to speak to the graduates.
More news on the other side of this break. Stay tuned.
Ceylon Bank, the bank with a heart.
Welcome back. In more news, Samagi Jana Balawege MP-elect J.C. Alawatuwala says that all factors in the 19th Amendment cannot be changed using the two-thirds majority, where in some instances a public referendum may be required. Addressing a media briefing today, he also accepted that there were shortcomings of the 19th Amendment, rather.
19 වෙනි ආණ්ඩු ක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථාව ඉතාමත් කඩිනමින් වෙනස් කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා කියලා ආණ්ඩුවේ පාර්ශවයේ ප්‍රබලයන් ගණනාවක් කතා කරලා තියෙන මාධ්‍ය. අපිත් විශ්වාස කරනවා දැන් මේ වෙලාවේ ආණ්ඩුවට තුරින් දෙකේ බලයක් තියෙන වෙලාවේ මේ ව්‍යවස්ථා සංශෝධනයකට ආණ්ඩුවේ යයි කියලා. දැන් ඇත්තටම ආණ්ඩු ක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථාව සංශෝධනය කිරීමේදී යම් යම් කාරණා සංශෝධනය කිරීමේදී තුනින් දෙකේ බලයකින් පාර්ලිමේන්තුව තුළ ඒ කටයුතු ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ වගේම සමහර කාරණා ආණ්ඩු ක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථාව තුළ සංශෝධනය කරන්න තුනින් දෙකේ බලයකට එහා ගිහිල්ලා ජනමත විචාරණයකට යන්න තියෙනවා. 19 වන ආණ්ඩු ක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථාවේ යම් යම් අඩුපාඩු තියෙනවා කියලා අපිත් පිළිගන්නවා. නමුත් 19 වෙනි ආණ්ඩු ක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථාවේ තියෙන හොඳ කාරණා ගණනාවක් තියෙනවා.
දැන් අපිට තියෙන ගැටලුව තමයි මේ අලුත් ආණ්ඩුව ඇවිල්ලා මේ ජනතාවට ඒත්තු ගන්නන්න හදන්නේ. මේ විදුලි හිඟයක් තියෙනවයි කියලා රටේ ජනතාවට පෙන්නලා අර 2015ට කලින් තිබුණ මෙගා ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් නැවත මේ කරන්න හදන්නද මේ යන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි දන්නවා නොරොච්චෝලේ හැදුවා. මේක හරහා විශාල මුදලක් යම් යම් පිරිස් උපයාගත්තා කියලා චෝදනාවලුත් ඒ කාලේ ඇති වුණා. මොකද මේ එක පාටම ආණ්ඩුව ආපු ගමන් විදුලිය විසන්ධි කරන්න ඕනේ නැහැනේ. අලුත් ආණ්ඩුවක් ඇවිල්ලා සුමානයක් ගියේ නැහැ. දැන් ප්‍රකාශයටපත් කරනවා දවසකට පැයක් ගානේ දවස් 4කට ඒකත් හොඳම වෙලාව. අපිට නොපෙනෙන දෙයක් මේකේ පිටිපස්සේ වෙනවද කියන සැකයක් අපිට මතුවලා තිබෙනවා. එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන් නැවත ඔය ගල් අඟුරු බලාගාර වගේ ඒවා ඉදි කරලා මෙගා ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් වලට ගෙන යන්න. එහෙම නැත්නම් පෞද්ගලික අංශයෙන් විදුලිය ලබා ගන්න ඕනේ කියලා විදුලි බල මණ්ඩලයේ මුදල් ටික පෞද්ගලික අංශයේ දැන් හදාගෙන ඉන්න ඔය විදුලිය නිෂ්පාදනය කරන ආයතන වල වගේ යම් ව්‍යාපාරයක් යම් ආකාරයේ කොමිස් මුදලක් උපයා ගැනීමේ උත්සාහයක්ද කියන මේ ගැටලුව අපිට අද වෙනකොට මතුවලා තිබෙනවා.
The media secretary to former Our Power of People Party General Secretary has accused the leader of the AdaDerana National Council, Venerable Athurali Ratanathera, of abducting Venerable Vedinigamma Vimalatissa Thera, the central figure behind the OPPP's national list nomination saga. Meanwhile, OPPP members say that they expect the Election Commission to deliver a final ruling on the issue tomorrow.
In the latest update to the national list nomination issue faced by the Our Power of People party, the media secretary of Venerable Vedinigamma Vimalatissa Thera, Venerable Hunupitiya Chandrasiri Thera, accused the leader of the AdaDerana National Council, Venerable Athurali Ratanathera, of abducting the party's former general secretary last Sunday.
රතන හඳුරන වහන්සේ මුල් වෙලා අපේ වේදිනේගම හඳුරන පැහැරගෙන ගිහිල්ලා තියෙනවා. උන්වහන්සේට කියලා තියෙන ජනාධිපතිතුමා හමු වෙන්න අවස්ථාවක් සැලසලා දෙනවා කියලා. නමුත් සිද්ධ වෙලා තියෙන එක නෙමෙයි උන්වහන්සේව පැහැරගෙන යාම. කොහෙද හඳුන්නේ මේ පැහැරගෙන ගිහිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ? මේ වෙනකන් අපට තොරතුරක් නැහැ උන්වහන්සේ සම්බන්ධව. විශේෂයෙන් මේ සඳහා අතුරුයි රතන හඳුර වගේ කියන්න ඕනේ. ඒ කියන්නේ අනතුරක් වයි සැකයිද? අපි හිතනවා උන්වහන්සේව රඳවාගෙන තියාගෙන ඉන්නේ මේ මන්ත්‍රී ධූරයේ රතන හඳුරන් පැහැර ගැනීම සඳහා දරන උත්සාහයකට තමයි අපි හිතන්නේ. උන්වහන්සේ පාවිච්චි කරන WP KO 56.2 දරන සුදු පැහැ Toyota Crown කාර් රථයෙන් තමයි පැහැරගන්නේ. පොලිසිය සම්බන්ධ වෙලා රතනහාමුදුරන්ට උන්වහන්සේව පැහැර ගන්න සහාය දුන්නේ මේ පිටිපස්ස අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම රජයේ ඉන්න නිසා. මේ වෙනකොට මැතිවරණ කොමසාරිස්වරයා තමන්ගේ වගකීම ඉෂ්ට කරන බව පේන්නේ නැහැ. එසට කරන්නේ නැත්te අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම රජයේ බලපෑම නිසා කියලා අපි චෝදනා කරනවා.
Meanwhile, representatives of the Our Power of People party visited the Election Commission today in expectation of a final solution to the party's current crisis. The group then handed over a letter to the commission pertaining to the abduction of Venerable Vedinigama Vimratissa Thera. The letter requests the Election Commission to refrain from acting on any communication submitted by the Thera in light of the alleged abduction scenario.
තාම තීරණයක් නැහැ කොමිසමේ. මම හිතන්නේ හවසට තීරණයක් දෙයි. මෙතන මහාචාර්ය හෝල්ගේ පොඩි ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා. මේ නීතිපතිතුමා විසින් එවපු එකේ අර්ථ නිරූපණය. මම හිතන්නේ වැරදි විදිහට තමයි ඒක උකහා දක්වලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒක නැමත සමාලෝචනයකට අරගෙන බොහෝ දුරට තීරණය හෙට දෙයි.
දැන් අද දවසේ අවසන් තීරණයක් දෙන්න
ඔව් පොරොන්දු වුණා. ඒක නිසා තමයි අපි මේ ලිපි ලේඛන සකස් කරලා දුන්නේ. බොහෝ විට මම හිතන්නේ කොමිෂන් සභාව හවස හෝ හෙට උදේ අය රැස් වෙයි. රැස්වලා දෙයි.
Former State Intelligence Service Director Nilantha Jayawardena told the Presidential Commission investigating the Easter Sunday attacks that the National Intelligence Review meetings held weeks before the attacks and headed by then Defence Secretary Hemasiri Fernando paid little attention to the serious warning. Jayawardena stated that the National Intelligence Chief Sisira Mendes did not bring up the warning officially during the meeting, but instead only made mention of it at the meeting's end.
The Presidential Commission of Inquiry probing the Easter Sunday attacks yesterday continued to hear evidence from former State Intelligence Director Nilantha Jayawardena. The former State Intel Chief told the Commission that an intelligence review meeting was held on 9th April 2019 with the participation of Defence Secretary Hemasiri Fernando, former Chief of National Intelligence Sisira Mendes, former IGP Pujit Jayasundara, and included the Director of the Army Intelligence Board and the commanders of the three armed forces. The Additional Solicitor General at the Commission asked the witness whether he, as the Director of State Intelligence, had brought up the subject of the foreign intelligence warning to the attention of those present at the meeting. The witness responded saying, "No, I did not." The witness added that before the meeting began, he asked the National Intelligence Chief Sisira Mendes, "Sir, why are you still keeping the document in your hand? Won't you submit it? And why aren't you taking action? It is a big problem." He added that at the end of the meeting, Sisira Mendes asked Defence Secretary Hemasiri Fernando, "Sir, what about Nilantha's document?" To that, the Defence Secretary then asked Nilantha Jayawardena, "Nilantha, what have you done on this information?" The witness told the Commission that he replied, "Sir, the team I sent to the East to look into this returned last night. We are preparing a special report. I will send it to the IGP today." He revealed to the Commission that he had subsequently submitted a special report to IGP Pujit Jayasundara on the foreign intelligence information at around 1 p.m. after the end of the intelligence review meeting. The Commission chairman then asked the witness if former Defence Secretary Hemasiri Fernando claims that the subject was not brought up by him at the meeting on 9th April, would that be considered truthful? The witness responded that he possesses the technical evidence to prove his version of the events and stands ready to produce it if his statement is called into question. The Commission's chairman then asked the witness why he did not bring up the subject during the meeting. The witness responded that he did not bring up the issue as the full report was not yet ready. Meanwhile, the Additional Solicitor General questioned the witness whether former President Maithripala Sirisena was informed of the intelligence warning received on April 4th, anytime before April 10th. He responded that at no time did he inform President Sirisena on the warning before that time. The Additional Solicitor General further inquired whether the State Intelligence Service had carried out security checks of premises in the lead-up to a function former President Maithripala Sirisena was scheduled to attend in Batiklo on April 12th. The witness told the Commission that he had inspected the area and that no security issues had arisen. The Additional Solicitor General pointed out to the Presidential Commission that there are 2 Christian churches and 1 mosque near the Weber Stadium in Batiklo, where former President Maithripala Sirisena attended a ceremony on April 12th last year. The Commission was then shown a map where the Additional Solicitor General pointed out that the Zion Church bomber had reportedly been staying in the mosque situated near the Weber Stadium before the April 21st bombing. When asked whether he was aware of this fact, the witness responded that he was not aware of this information up to now.
We'll return after this short commercial break. Stay tuned. Welcome back in more news. Upon instructions of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, the Ministry of Highways has decided to immediately suspend the road development project taking place in the Singharaja World Heritage Site. The road development project has also come under heavy criticism by many factions who claim that the construction work will have an adverse effect on the fragile ecosystem. Local residents, however, condemn the opposition while assuring that they are dedicated to protect the forest reserve as they've been doing for years. Development work of the 18-kilometre-long rural road from Neluwa in Galle to Lankagama via Dobagoda and Mederipitiya commenced on the 30th of July. This road runs through the Ging River Reserve and the Singharaja Forest Reserve. The road, which is currently about 10 feet wide, will be widened to 12 feet and the construction work is already being carried out by 2 teams of army personnel. However, a number of parties have alleged that the widening of this road will damage the central part of the Singharaja Reserve and adversely affect the World Heritage Rainforest System. The villagers of Lankagama meanwhile request the authorities to not oppose the development of this road, which they have used as a means to travel for decades.
මේ ගමේ මිනිස්සු තමයි මේ වනාන්තරය ආරක්ෂා කළේ මෙච්චර කාල. ඉදිරියටත් මේ ගමේ මිනිස්සු මේ වනාන්තරය ආරක්ෂා කරනවා. නමුත් අපි කියන්නේ මේ ඉදි කරලා තියෙන මාර්ගය සංවර්ධන කටයුතු සිදු කරගෙන යනකොට මේ ආකාරයෙන් නොඑක් ප්‍රචාර යවමින් මේ වැඩේට බාධා සිදු කරනවා නම් අපි ඒක ගම්වාසීන් විදියට ප්‍රදේශවාසීන් ලෙස දැඩි ලෙස පිළිකුලෙන් යුතුව හෙලා දකිනවා.
ඒ නිසා අතිගරු ජනාධිපතිතුමන්ගෙන් අපි ඉල්ලනවා රාජ්‍ය සේවකයෝ විදිහටත් ඒ වගේම මේ ගමේ ජනතාව වෙනුවෙනුත් අපි ඉල්ලනවා මේ පාර කොහොම හරි හදලා දෙන්න.
However, representatives of the Rainforest Protectors of Sri Lanka have observed the progress of the development project and had sent a letter to President Gotabaya Rajapaksa informing him of their observations. Accordingly, they say that the steep slope on the left side of the road has been altered by a 90-degree cut, which could lead to landslides. It adds that due to a large amount of removed soil from the left side being dumped towards the Ging River, it poses a risk of mounds of earth being washed away to the river. Furthermore, they say that many small waterways that take shape during the rainy season have been blocked. It also points out that unnecessarily large amounts of soil have been removed. In this backdrop, the Ministry of Highways announced that it has decided to hold constructions of the road with immediate effect until a report is obtained from the Environmental Authority after conducting a study. Secretary of Defence retired Major General Kamal Gunaratne says that strict legal action should be taken against all corrupt state officials until the very last corrupt official is taken out of public service. In the meantime, with the government's war on the underworld and drug racketeers, several arrests were made by police today as well.
Officers of the Grand Pass Police arrested a domestic helper of drug racketeer Poddi from the 70 estate area in Grand Pass after detecting over 25 million rupees that had circulated through bank accounts held under her name. Subsequent interrogations of the domestic helper revealed that she had been employed to care for the paralyzed mother of drug racketeer Vindani Priyadarshini, alias Poddi. In a separate development, the Criminal Investigation Department arrested a Special Task Force sub-inspector last evening on charges of transporting drugs and storing weapons in collusion with underworld criminals and large-scale drug racketeers. He was arrested following information revealed during interrogations of Police Narcotics Bureau officers currently in custody. The 49-year-old suspect was the officer in charge of intelligence and special operations at the STF camp in Mannar. The suspect has been detained for further investigations under the Prevention of Terrorism Act. What's more, a 30-year-old newspaper journalist has been arrested by the CID on Monday for transporting weapons during the COVID-19 lockdown in a van belonging to a suspect in detention after misleading security personnel using his official media ID. The suspect had allegedly transported the weapons to the Pitipana area in Homagama. The suspect was arrested following more revelations by the remanded PNB officers. Further investigations are currently underway. In the meantime, the police have commenced investigations into assets owned by 6 mistresses of drug racketeer Hettea, who was arrested by Minuangada police officers recently. In another development, officers of the Grand Pass Police apprehended 3 accomplices of drug racketeer Kumari, along with 200,000 rupees cash in their possession. Further, an Urban Development Authority driver was also nabbed with a stock of Kerala cannabis worth 500,000 rupees following a tip-off received by the Anti-Corruption Unit of the Nugegoda Police Division. Meanwhile, in Katana, 3 suspects including 2 women were arrested by the Katana Police Station with 123 grams of heroin in their possession. In the meantime, officers of the Mirigama Police Station discovered 3 revolvers revolvers, several rounds of ammunition, and military uniforms hidden in a garage in the Mirigama area. A suspect was also arrested by the police during the search operation. Meanwhile, Defence Secretary retired Major General Kamal Gunaratne says that legal action must be taken against all corrupt officials operating at state institutions.
ඒ රාජ්‍ය ආයතන තුලත් දූෂිත නිලධාරීන් ගැන නීතිමය පියවර අරගන්න ඕනේ. සංවිධානාත්මක අපරාධ රැල්ල, මේ කුඩු රැල්ල, ඒ වගේ දේවල් කප්පන් ගැනිලි ඒවා මඩින ගමන් අපි අපේ ඇතුළත් සුද්ධ කරගන්න ඕනේ. අපේම ඇතුළේ ඉඳගෙන මේ වගේ දේවල් කරනවා නම් ඒ කියන්නේ ඒකේ ලොකු වැරද්දක් තියෙනවා, ලොකු ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා. ඒක නිසා තමයි අපි මේ වැඩපිළිවෙල ක්‍රියාත්මක කරගෙන යන්නේ. ඉතින් ඒ අවසාන දූෂිත නිලධාරියාටත් විරුද්ධව නීතිමය පියවර ගත්ත දවසට තමයි කියන්න පුළුවන් ඒක අවසానයි කියලා.
With that, we wrap up tonight's edition of First at 9. Thank you for joining. I'm Shanella Fernando. Good night.